Okay. Mm, just one of you, after putting the message, please do confirm me. Just put a message saying that ADP class has started. May I know who is doing it? Hello? Please.
Dude, sir, 188.
Yeah. Have you posted the message?
I'm doing it now.
Yeah. Okay. Because 16 is very less. Okay. Okay. Yesterday we started discussing uh, how to write to the file, and one example that we discussed was taking the lines from two different files, merging them and writing it to one more file. And then we also understood how to perform the random read, okay, or how to know the current file position or the current file pointer. So Python supports a method called as tell method. Using tell method you can know where exactly the current file position is, or the current file pointer is pointing, and we understood that with the simple examples also. Okay. And then what we were discussing was how do we set the current file position to the desired offset or the desired position. Okay, so that can be achieved by using the method called seek. And whenever say I perform some read operation from the file, say I want to read 5 bytes. Yesterday I was demonstrating to you people. When I read first say read 5 bytes, if I say it will read first 5 bytes from the file, and after reading the first 5 bytes from the file, so the read write pointer will be pointing to the 5th byte. And again if I call read say 6 bytes or 7 byte, now what it will do, from the 5th byte onwards it will go for reading the specified number of bytes. Now in case if I want to reset the read write pointer to the beginning of the file again, okay, so then I can do that by using the seek method. Seek, and 0 is the position, where the read write pointer should be positioned. Now the read write pointer will be positioned to the 0th byte. And similarly, say from the 5th so 0th byte from the beginning of the file, I want to position the read write pointer to the 100th byte, or I want to position the read write pointer to an offset of 100 bytes from the beginning. So then I would be doing it like this. Okay, how? FD seek 100. Now what will happen? The read write pointer will be positioned to 100 byte from the beginning of the file. So the read write pointer gets positioned to itself to an offset of 100 byte from the beginning of the file. So now whenever using the seek, okay, there are a few things to understand. If the current say file pointer, okay, is already at the beginning BOF, now I cannot give the negative value. Okay, say for example if the seek, say let me write here, say this is my file, say the read write pointer is already here, it is pointing to the 0th byte, or this is nothing but the BOF, beginning of the file. So I have something written over here in the file. Say this is the last byte. Now who is point? This is nothing but what? Your UIF, end of file. End of file. So when read write pointer is here, beginning of the file, its value is what? 0. Okay, it is pointing to the 0th byte. Now when read write pointer is already here, now seek value cannot be negative. So if I pass a negative integer value to the seek, then the seek will fail, because it is not possible to this itself is the starting byte, and there is nothing after this. Okay, so seek fails. And similarly, when the read write, say for example the read write pointer is somewhere here and BOF is here and EOF is here. When the read write pointer is somewhere in between the BOF and EOF, so the seek can take both positive as well as negative values. Okay, so when I give negative value, the read write pointer will be positioned in this direction, moves in the backward direction, and if I give the positive value, it will be in the forward direction. Now when that is what when read write pointer is in between EOF and BOF, so the seek can take negative as well as positive integers. And here, say for example the read write pointer is pointing somewhere here to the end of file. Okay, when it is pointing to the end of file, it depends on the mode in which you are opening. Say for example I'm opening the file in the read only mode and the read write pointer is positioned here and I'm calling seek by passing the positive integer. Say read write pointer is already pointing to the end of the file, I'm invoking the execution of seek by passing a positive integer. What happens? It fails, because this itself is the end of file and nothing to read after this. So if I open the file in the write only mode or read write mode, okay, so and if I pass the positive value, nothing, the seek is not going to fail. Now what it will do, it will increase the file size. Say for example this is the end of file and the byte number is, say for example the last byte here is 100, EOF is the 100th byte. Say I have given here 10, okay, the positive integer. What will happen? So the file size will get increased by what? 10 bytes. So now if I assume the current size of the file is 100 bytes, now if I do seek of 10 when the read write pointer is pointing to the EOF, what will happen to the file size? File size will simply increase to 110 bytes. Now what's going to happen to the remaining 10 bytes? They will be padded with the ols, or they will be padded with the null characters. Hope you people are following.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is, and when it is EOF, read write pointer is pointing here to the EOF. So irrespective of the mode, say for example if you have opened it in the read only mode or write only mode, negative values are always accepted, but positive values, when read write pointer is pointing to the EOF, it is accepted only if the file is opened in the write mode or read write mode. If it is opened in the read only mode, so then the positive values what we give will not be accepted and the seek is going to fail. Fail in the sense it returns, it goes to the failure case, or it throws an exception, something like that. Next, counting the bytes is a pain. Okay, that means it's a difficult. So counting bytes is a pain. So what we did here, okay. Now what we can do is, so seek as an optional argument set. One is 0, 1 and 2. Now what 0 says is count from the beginning. That is what we did here. If I just give 0, it will make the read write pointer point to the beginning of the file. Now if I give 1, okay, it will count from the current file position. Okay, if I give 2, so always sets the read write pointer to the end of the file. Okay, so these are the optional argument set which we use in order to indicate the beginning of the file, current position of the file, and the end of the file. Okay, now every read moves current position forward. Okay, just for example, every time you read something, what will happen? The current position or the read write pointer will be always moving in the forward direction. So every read or read line or read lines moves the current position forward. When you hit the end, okay, so whenever you reach the EOF or end of file, every read will just yield a blank, an empty string. So since you are at the end, so no indication of EO end of file this way. Okay, so it keeps advancing the current file position in the forward direction on every read or read line or read lines. Okay. Now what read will do, it will go for reading the entire content of the file. What read line will do, it will read the one complete line. What read lines is going to do, it's going to read the number of lines what you have specified. On everything, what's happening, the read write pointer is advanced in the forward direction. And it stops when it reaches the end by returning an empty string. Okay. You need to seek to the beginning to start again. Okay. Once you reach, once you get an empty string, and if you are when you reach the end of the file, so again you got to set the read write pointer to the beginning. Okay. To the start. To do this, what you can do is you can close the file and you got to open. So if you close this, because read write pointer was already pointing to the end of the file, now I want to set the pointer all the way to the beginning. One approach is closing the file and opening it again, but this is not the recommended one. Okay. Now seek is easier. Say the read write pointer is pointing to the end, and using seek you can even without closing and opening the file, you can set the read write pointer to the beginning of the file. Now I have the example now. We'll work with a file called temp.txt, which has the following file contents. I have first line, second line, third line, and fourth line. Okay, what kind of working we are doing here? So this is the example which is shown here. See, I'm opening the temp.txt in the read mode, and initially what I'm doing is invoking the execution of the method tell by using the file handler of temp.txt. File handler is what now? Test file. Now since it was opened for the first time and nothing I've read, so read write pointer will be pointing to the 0th byte. Now what it is telling is the read write pointer is right now positioned at the 0th byte. Next, what I'm doing, I am interested in reading a line from the text file temp.txt. I'm invoking the execution of the read line. See, the first line of my file, assuming these are my file contents. So the first line of my file is printed. Okay, and after the first line of my file is printed, so I'm just again invoking the tell method. Now when I do tell method again, see the first line, how many bytes are there? So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 is this /n, which is here, but that is not visible here. Okay, so you can count here: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 it is. And right now, so this is print, and where is the read write pointer pointing? It is pointing to the 11th byte. Where it is pointing? It is pointing to the first character of the second line. Okay, read write pointer is here. Next, what I do? Now I want to read the first line again. Now what is that I do? I make seek 0, and 0 is an optional argument. What it will do? It will set the read write pointer again to the BOF, beginning of the file, and now you can see it is 0. So it is not pointing to the, when this read line was executed, it was pointing to the 11th byte. Now when I call seek 0, again the read write pointer is pointing back to 0th byte. Where it is pointing? It is pointing to F. Now what I'm doing, so again read line I'm calling. So this time again what? So I have the first line printed. Now I'm calling for the second time the read line. Okay, after this read line, the one more consecutive read line. Now what it is doing? Second line it is printing. Now if I say tell, okay, now where is the read write pointer positioned? To the 23rd byte. So where it is pointing? Sorry, it is pointing here to T. This is the 23rd byte. Okay, 23 it is telling. Now what I'm doing, okay, seek 0, 2 I have given. Okay, what this will do is it is a position 2 means what? So 2 means what here? Okay, count from the end of file. Okay, so 0, 2 I have written. So what this will do? It will position to see, go to the end and from the end, what is the displacement? 0. That means I want to position my read write pointer. So this is the end and this is 0. From the end, how many bytes? 0. So stop there only. Okay. Now it gets positioned here to this position. This is the 46th byte. Now if I say here say -2, say instead of the 0, if I give it as -1, from the end, your read write pointer will be positioned to what? Last but one character. Instead of pointing to E, even it's not pointing to E, it's pointing to this, the last byte. Okay, EOF character. So if I want to position here exactly, then I have to do -1. If I do -1, it will be pointing here. Okay, next I say tell 46, and next I say read line. Nothing is there, because so it is already pointing to 46, which is the last byte here, and after that I'm saying to read line. So nothing it prints. What it is returning is what? An empty string. So what I mentioned here, when the end of the file is hit, it returns an empty string. Whenever empty string is written, you have to understand that you have reached the end of the file. Okay. Next, what we are doing, again I'm using the seek and making the read write pointer to position exactly to the 11th byte. See, whenever you pass only one argument, it is always from the beginning. Okay, when you pass two arguments, this is the reference and this is the offset. So from the end, position the read write pointer at an offset of 0th byte. Okay, hope you people are following. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, 11th byte, and now again if I say I have the second line printed. So once I do all this invocation, tell method, seek, and if I want to finally close, okay, so I just say file.close, and after closing the file, again if I go for invoking the read line, so I have this exception thrown. Okay, because no operation, IO operations are allowed on the closed file. Okay, we'll go for executing these things. Okay, all this was done. Now I think we go to execute from here, and this is an image file which I have put here, so I have to type by myself. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll modify this line, this file, abc.txt. So instead of temp, I'll take it as abc.txt, and I'll go for writing the same content whatever is here. So first line, second line, third line, and fourth line. Okay. What we will do is we'll open the file and we will find the position of the current read write pointer. So I take fh file handler is equal to open abc.txt comma in read mode. Okay, I've opened it. Now I on fh I say tell, so it is 0. That means the read write pointer is pointing to the 0th byte. Next, what we do, we'll go for reading a line. fh dot read, what it will do, it will read all the bytes, entire, oh sorry, okay, I have not saved it. Yeah, So there was a star here. That means this file was not saved. Now I have saved it. Yeah. See, everything, all the bytes from the beginning till the end is read. Okay. Now if I write 5, it will read only first 5 bytes. Oh God. Okay. Oh, sorry. What is the meaning now? See, fh read. So it has read all these things, and where is the read write pointer? It is pointing to the end. Okay. So it is already at the end. So you call tell. So it is pointing to the end, and after that there is no string. What it is returning is empty string. Oh, sorry. So I'll do this. fh dot tell. So 50. So it is pointing to the 50th byte, and after that there is nothing to read. Hence it is returning an empty string. Now what I have to do now? fh dot seek 0. Again set the read write pointer to the beginning. Okay. Now if I say fh dot read 5, so it will read first 5 bytes from the beginning. So first 5 bytes from the beginning is read. Okay. Now let me set fh dot seek to the beginning, and then okay, no, fh dot seek to the second line, that is 11 bytes. Now where the read write pointer is pointing to the second line, to this yes right now. Now I'll go for reading a line. fh dot if I call read from the second line, it will print till the end. Now what I'll do, instead of read, I'll call read line. Now it will print the second line. Oh, I think yeah. Let me count here. I think I have to do one less. I think. Okay. Let me set it to again seek 11. So from the beginning to the 11. Okay. Now what I'll do? At 10, I think. Let me do 10. Okay. fh dot read line. One second. Sorry. 0. Okay. So let me set it back to the beginning. Seek 0. Now I'll call fh dot read line. So first line, fh dot read line. So second line. Okay. And then what we are doing, first line, second line. Now tell again. fh dot tell. So 25. So sorry, it's wrong here. This is saying 23. I should not go with respect to these numbers here. Okay. And this is telling 25. Okay. After reading the first two lines, the read write pointer is pointing to this. This is at the 25th byte. Okay. T is stored at the 25th byte. Okay. Next. Okay. There are others you can understand, I think. Okay. Okay. Fine. And then finally you can go for closing. fh dot close. This one I'll demonstrate. Now right now it is positioned to the 25th position. Okay. Now fh dot seek. See, from the current position, say if I want to set it to -3 comma towards the left, from the current position it is 1. can't do non-zero current relative 6. Okay, so what I'll do this one. Okay, let me try with this first. Okay, 0 0 comma 2. From the end, set to the last byte. It should set it. Yeah, it has set it to the last byte. Okay, from the end. This is saying from the end, position it to 0th byte. Now I'll try Control C. Say this one. I'll give it as -2. I think negative values. It's not taking. Yeah, it's not taking negative values. If I give +2, so this is past the end of file, and that is also it is not taking. Yeah, I'll tell you on this because C programming and Java and all, the negative values are allowed. Current positive and negative values are allowed when the read-write pointer is positioned between EOF and POF. I'll tell you this. Okay, on this negative numbers here. Okay, instead of confusing you people, let me stop at this point, and tomorrow when I come back, I'll highlight on this the negative values. So next is advantage of opening files using with. So this I've already told you. If you open the file using the with command, so then the file is closed automatically when the suit ends, or when the control goes out of the scope. The file is automatically closed. You don't have to explicitly close the file. Now here in this example, what we are doing with open temp.txt as temp file, and then reading the lines. So when I say read line, it will read only one line. When I say read lines, it will read all the lines. So even you can go for passing the arguments also to this. Say if I pass 2 as the argument to this, it will read first 2 lines. Okay. The moment it reads all the lines, what will happen? The file will be automatically closed. So that is the advantage of using opening the file with the with command. So next, till now we understood how to work with the normal text files. Okay, ordinary text files. Now how to work with the CSV files, that is comma separated values, or comma separated files, what we call it as. So the comma separated values file is also majority of the times it is represented using the spreadsheets itself, or the Excel sheets, what we normally call it as. Very popular and powerful application for manipulating the data, spreadsheets. So its popularity means there are many companies that provide their own versions of the spreadsheet. So it would be nice if those different versions could share their data. See, and majority of the applications which go for taking the uploads in the form of the spreadsheets, they prefer using the comma separated values, because CSVs are universal. Now if you go for using the spreadsheets like the Excel sheets or the Google sheet, so there will be many versions, and they may not be compatible all the time. But CSVs are uniform across everything. Okay, so usually the CSV files are preferred for uploading the data to the database. Okay, CSV basic sharing. The basic approach is to share the data which is in the form of a comma separated values. Okay, it is a text format and it is accessible to all apps. So since I told it is something like universal, it can be accessed by all the apps. So each line is a row, every line is a row, and in each row each value is separated by the other value by using a comma. Okay, and cannot capture the complex things like formula. You cannot see in Excel sheet you can go for applying the formulas and all, but in on CSVs all these formulas and all will not work. Okay. Something like this. CSVs are nothing but the values which are separated by the commas. Say comma separated values. Say I write an example here, H. So this is a comma separated value. Now if I write one more line, say this is another line. This is one row with comma separated values, and this is another row with comma separated values. Now example is also here. This is what the Microsoft Excel sheet spreadsheet which you are seeing, and the corresponding CSV file for this is something like this. So the first row, the header row, name, exam 1, exam 2, final, exam, overall, grade. So these are all separated by commas, and again the next row separated by commas. So this is more universal, because here since there are many versions, a lot of incompatibilities will be there. Say for example, when I'm using this Excel to upload to the database, so it may be incompatible, but always using the comma separated values to update to the database or upload to the database is more convenient, because this is universal across all the apps. So yeah, I told CSVs are universal, but to some extent, you can also say that CSVs is not universal. As simple as that sounds, even CSV format is not completely universal. Why? I'll tell you. Because different apps have the small variations. But when you do the comparison between the Excel spreadsheet and the CSVs, so it is preferred to use the CSVs, because there is no too much of variations across the apps. But Excel, if you take, a lot of variations are there, but still the CSVs are not universal. To some extent small variations are there, but Python provides a module to deal with these small variations easily. And what is that module the Python provides is CSV module. The name of the module itself is CSV, comma separated value modules. And using these modules, you can go for masking the small variations which are there even in the CSV files. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and this module, the CSV module, will allow you to read the spreadsheet info into your program, or the CSV module will allow you to read the comma separated values from the CSV file to your program. And even this module also allows you to write write the data which is available in the program, or the data generated by the program, to the CSV file. And earlier we understood one example on this. That is, I don't know whether people remember it or not, the program which we discussed for what is that, registering the students for the events. So that one example we discussed. So in that example we used the CSV files itself. Okay. Now how do we import the CSV model? Import CSV module you got to do. And how do we open the CSV files? So normal open method we use. So the method, open method, what we understood till now, the same method is used. Okay. Open the file as normally and creating a file object. Okay. Or open the file and get the file handler, something like that. And create an instance of CSV reader used to iterate through the file just opened. So even in the normal files, we used to open the file, get the handler, and using that handler used to iterate through the lines of the files. And similarly here also, after opening the CSV file, you'll get the handler, and using that handler you can go for iterating through every rows of the CSV files. And when you are iterating through the rows, even you can go for accessing each of the comma separated values from the row. So iterating with the reader object yields a row as a list of strings. Okay. So since it yields in the form of the list of strings, so from the list you can go for adding the individual strings. Okay, so here is an example. Just look into this. We have imported the CSV module. Now see, opening the CSV files is exactly same as opening the normal text files. So open workbook1.csv in read mode. I'm getting the handler here. The handler is returned to workbook file. Next, what I'm doing, I'm creating an object of what CSV reader. Workbook reader is equal to CSV dot reader. Reader is the method now which reads from the CSV files which is present inside the module CSV dot reader, and what I'm passing to this is the handler that is written by the open method workbook. Now after you do this, now on this workbook reader object you can iterate using the for loop, and this for loop also, you know how it is implemented. It is implemented using those two protocol methods. So that is iter method and the next method, double underscore iter, double underscore, and then double underscore next, and then double underscore. So read a row from the workbook reader object and print the row. And as I already told, so what this CSV reader object returns is the list of strings. You can just observe here, what is printed is the list of strings. Hope you people are following. Hello, are you people there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all the comma separated values. So this first row is printed in the form of the list of strings, and the second row is printed in the form of the list of strings again. And again, once you have it in the form of the list, you can go for doing any kind of processing on this. Okay. Yeah. And things to note. So universal new line is working by default. So needed for this worksheet. A blank line in the CSV shows up an empty list. Okay, so you can just observe here. See, there was a blank line. Say after this row, after this row, after this row, after this row. So in between these two, say there was a blank row, and it is shown up as what? An empty list. Okay, a blank line in the CSV shows up an empty list. So empty column shows up an empty string in the list. So if, say for example, see here, so average, and this, there was nothing here, so there was nothing in this column, and it is written as an empty string also. So this is what, whenever you are reading a CSV file, if there is an empty row, it will be read and printed as an empty list. And whenever there is an empty column, okay, then it will be read and printed as an empty string. So these two things you got to remember, okay, or things to note. Okay, and after this I have a working example here. So I think this example I'll take it in the next class. Okay, working examples, and I have few more examples to go with. Okay, so executing all these examples and all, we will do it in the next class. And today I want to stop here. Okay, after taking the attendance. Okay, 26 people are there. I think one few students are there, 26. Okay, let me mark, no problem. So I'll go with mark absent 27 it became. I'll go with mark absent for all and then put present for only those who are present here. Okay. 54 is present. Okay. And then 103 is present. 103. 18 CS 103. And then 125 is present. 126 is present. 129 is present. 133 next. 134 is next. Okay. 134 next is 140, 133, 134, 141 next. 144 is next. 149 is next. 153, 154, 157, 162, 163, 165, 166, 167, 170, 175, 181, 181, next 182, 183, 186, 188, 404, and then 411. Okay. I'll download the list also. Okay, I have downloaded it. Okay, thank you all. So we'll meet again.